And I want to acknowledge the presence of our own Honorable Bawumiah. Round of applause for Bawumiah. He's one of our best. He did so much for workers. And we'll never forget him. In fact, if not for you going for president, we'll say that I should go for president. Praise the Lord! Hallelujah. Pensions. Because the Act 766 started with the Agri. And we have the white paper on pensions. I want to shorten to say, Honorable, SSNIT is killing us. People are talking about Bryan. Bryan is a businessman. Any businessman will take advantage of whatever if your systems are not in place. Please, the white paper said SSNIT should be restructured. SSNIT must be restructured. This is the time. And one thing that we, the forum, in collaboration with organizers, will be fighting for is the governance structure of SSNIT. Because the SSNIT money is not government money, it's workers' money. Sure. Do you agree with me? Yes. It is workers' money. So why should some people who are not contributors to the fund be controlling the fund? We are not going to allow it to happen. This is workers' money, and we must control it. You know, the good book says that where your treasure is, that's where what? So please, Ember Manifesto Momo. No, so. In fact, we have fruitful discussions with your Minister for Public Enterprise, Joseph Kudu. And one of the things that we said was, you've mentioned credit reference. And one key thing is character reference. You see, I can still in the civil service, and then next time I'll go to the education service, and nobody knows about it. It's very important. And that boils down to discipline. In our there's so much indiscipline. So much indiscipline. You know, I'll bring it down to decentralization. Decentralization, Agri. You go to an assembly, the PM has got his own task force. Yes. The assembly has got its own task force. The MC2 has got its own task force. Chaotic. Today, I don't talk plenty, but I'll give to you the Supreme Court ruling on neutrality. Please, I want you to look at it. Everything is there. Everything is there. To end my, public sector workers, you've mentioned underpaid. But one key thing is what we call this apartheid system of salary anticipation in the public services. And this is what the single spine sought to kill. It has widened, the differentials have widened. I just had one of my secretaries go to parliamentary service. And when I saw the figures, I think Honorable will agree with me. I said, wow. He's even working less. Now he closes at 4:30. When he was here, he was looking at 7. And he said, anymore. Why? Is this fair? No. So we have to look at differentials in the public service. We are not even looking at the private sector. In the services. You go to other services, the gaps are too big. Let's narrow them. That is what we sought to do with single spine. And I beg to differ. We shouldn't even call it single spine because we don't have a single spine. Spine is broken spine. Do you have a single spine? No! We don't have a single spine. Multiple spines. We have multiple spines. In the public service, multiple spines. Even the one that is supposed to be the watchman for single spine is not on the single spine. It's not on the single spine. So, I'll pause because we've had such a wonderful presentation from His Excellency, In fact, he is full of energy. Don't try to beat his energy. When he was coming in and I was going around, the school back, my friend, I followed his lesson and I just shared, we made on the bone. So on that note, I don't know if you respond or
yes, let me just since you have made a few questions, let me just touch on some of them, because I think we can open this with a number of issues that you've raised. The issue that you've raised, first of all, has to do with the pensions and the SSNIT and its restructuring. The white paper on SSNIT saying that we have to restructure SSNIT, and then the governance structure. I think I could not disagree with you on this particular issue, because the workers are the owners of the funds, and therefore it's very clear that they must have a say, or even the decisive say on where the funds are put.
Round of applause. Round of applause for you.
I don't have it. It's not anything that because I mean, if the workers decide to put their funds in a bad place, it's the workers who are going to suffer, isn't it? So I think we can definitely look at the governance structure. Again, I think that there's no issue. The other major issue that you have raised is essentially the single spine, which is non-existent, or you talk about this apartheid system and the multiple spines. I think that really and this is not the first time I've heard about this issue recently. Even today, this morning, I heard about it. So it calls for a serious review of what we have right now. It's clear that what was supposed to be the solution to a problem has not worked out. So I think we all need to sit around the table again and see how best forward to look at these multiple spines and have a system that everybody will see that the differentials are not that big in the system. So I'm open for that discussion for us to take place and re-examine the whole single spine policy. Yeah, character reference is also very, very important. And I think that one of the good things we have in this area is the Ghana card, so that everybody is identified individually. And in fact, I've been talking with the IGP, the fact that we need to link, and this is what we're going to do, the Ghana card database with the criminal database. Sometimes today, we recruit people, we hire people to work in our homes, and we have no idea who they are. That some of them have been in prison, some of them have stolen, and you don't have any idea. They bring them into your house, and they could end up killing you. And so you should be able to do background checks. This is what I was telling the IGP, and this is what we're going to do. You should be able to do background checks on individuals before you recruit them, so that you get, with their permission, their Ghana card ID, and put it in the police database on your mobile phone, and the information should come up, whether this person has been convicted or whatever, has been fined or whatever. That background check, we should be able to. So I think that the character reference, for example, if you do a credit reference check on somebody, if they have failed to repay a loan, it will appear. Even fail to repay electricity bill, it will appear in the character, in the reference thing, because your payments, your car repayments and so on will all be part of the system. So I think the heart is to individually identify anybody and be able to report things that have been done. If someone has stolen from workplace, that report, there's an adverse report, it should be going there so that we can find out about people. So the Ghana card is a very good instrument for the character reference.
Yeah, thank you, Eddie. What are the mics? I think we took about 2 or 3 questions. But before that, this is a suggestion. You know, we talked about solar, but one key thing about solar is that we need to build capacity at our institutions. That's where we should start. It's interesting to know, people have gotten into solar, there are no technicians to really service their solar systems. So we should start from there. Let's educate our people, let's build capacity. It's very brilliant idea. Congratulations.
I agree. Thank you.
Yeah, questions? Eddie?
Eddie.
Yeah. So we mentioned your name. And then
my name is Acheampong, General Secretary of the Judicial Service Staff Association of Ghana. Your Excellency, the judiciary is an independent arm of government, just as Parliament and the Executive. The judicial service is not too different from the parliamentary service because we both provide support service to the arms of government. For the past 10 years, we have had to either threaten or declare strike every 2 years when our salaries are about to be reviewed. And for the past 32 years, after the coming into being of the 1992 Constitution, a very serious provision, Article 1582, which is supposed to address our condition of service, has not been implemented for 32 years. And it says that the Judicial Council, in consultation with the Public Service Commission, should come up with a constitutional instrument that will define our condition of service. And they must do so with the prior approval of the President. And that is where our heartbeat comes. Because once we have approval of the President, we all know where the challenges usually comes. Honorable Osenche Mesaboso is aware in 1995 they had CI 11 for the parliamentary service. In 2019 they've had CI 118 for them to enhance their condition of service, and for 32 years we haven't had this. I'm glad the Judicial Council has made significant progress, but we are afraid that the process may be challenging when it gets to the approval of the presidency. And we are also comforted that we have a vice president who is very instrumental in the affairs of this government. So we want to make a passionate appeal to you, Your Excellency, that when it gets to the approval of the president, you will gladly intervene so that we don't have difficulty. We want to see the judicial service regulation being passed into law even before the election period commences, and not when you have become president, inshallah. That is one key issue we have.
Hey. Last one, please.
For the sake of time, we've mentioned about the constitutional reforms. It's very obvious that when the judiciary is mentioned, people try to read certain meanings and question the independence of the judiciary, which has been granted both judicial...
You have 30 seconds.
When there is a chance for us to review our constitution, we will pray that you look at clauses in the constitution that...
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you.
Before, to add to what he has said, you see, pensions. The Constitution says that equal pay for equal work. That's what the Constitution says. It includes pensions. We don't understand why in the same public services, some people are being paid pension that they are not contributing for. And in 1972, all the research was done, and it was realized that this capacity we cannot pay since 1972. Now we see a situation where capacity has come back with better enhanced allowances. Allowances have now been consolidated into pensions. And these are going to be paid from the consolidated fund that they have not even contributed to. And we have contributed, and then our pensions are not being even paid. SSNIT, we have so much pension arrears. We are paying you, we are contributing to our pension, and it's not being paid. Some people are not contributing to their pension, and immediately it is paid. This is the apartheid system of salary administration in the public services. It must stop. It must stop. And talk about past credit. We have so much past credit. The law said transfer past credits to the public sector schemes or the schemes. We have not seen the day of light. SSNIT is still holding it. It's also giving us ridiculous rates for our money that they are holding. Still, last question. Then we'll take everything.
I'm Kiali Audu, President, Coalition of Concerned Teachers Ghana. We are from Ghana Education Service. We are great teacher unions. The NAT president is here. Nagrat wouldn't make it do, but they are aware everything that is going on. Mr. President, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. Education is the heartbeat of every economy. And the only way a nation can prosper in the future and rub shoulders with those in the West that Your Excellency, you even want us to become better than, is to look at our education and look at it critically. One of the greatest challenges in Ghana's education has to do with the lower level education. Currently, there is a lot of intervention going on in lower level education, but it's sparingly. The new GHS block that are building, country-wise, if you are counting, is not even up to 10. What is happening is that there is a gradual collapse of basic education in this country. Basic education in this country currently is only effective in the rural communities. Highly effective in the rural communities where many parents do not have the option of a private basic school. But when you come to the public basic school in the urban areas, sometimes you don't even find the schools. And when you find them, there are no students or there are no pupils. The middle income worker, including even the teachers themselves that teach, will take their children to the nearby private school. Not because the teachers there are better, but because infrastructure there is better. Children basically learn by play. The state of a lot of our basic schools are not good. We should look at it critically. 2, government. The MPP government, led by His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, is very keen on senior high school. And the kind of investment that has been made in senior high school for the past 7 years leave a lot to be desired. I teach in the senior high school, and I know the state of the school before 2017 and the state of the school today, development that has been done in the school. Your Excellency, we want that political will that your boss used in the senior high school to be used at the basic school. That political will to transform senior higher education. Next year, God willing, if you become president, let's see a policy towards transforming basic education in this country.
Thank you very much. So, last question goes to my friend here, and then Your Excellency, wrap it up for us.
My name is Professor York from the Ghana Medical Association. What I'm raising, it's at the core of healthcare delivery in this country, and I'm sure I speak the minds of many unions and even the ministry. I'm talking about rural-urban dichotomy in terms of distribution of health workers, critical health workers, and also the brain drain. You know, some policies in the past attempted to stem the outward migration of health professionals, but no more. I am a trainer of doctors as well, and almost on a weekly basis, I'm seeing people asking for attestation to be able to move outside. Some of the reasons are because you want to advance knowledge, but primarily, you and I and everybody here knows that it's driven by the economics. I don't have to talk about the plummeted real incomes because of what is going on. But as a union and as stakeholders in the space, we have partnered the Ministry of Health to put together what we call the deprived area incentive allowance or incentives. Now this paper or document is done. It is gathering dust. Now, if I live in Accra and I'm paid X amount, I live in a typical village and I also paid X, what would I say in the village? There's no incentive. Now, when I live in Accra, I have the option of doing extra work to get more money. And then once I live in Accra, it's also easier for us or for you to migrate because that push factor is also there very strongly. So what we have fought for over the decades is this document. It's gathering dust. So please, if it hasn't captured your attention, I want you to bring it to your radar. I raise it or re-raise it with your people when they first met us earlier.
Thank you very much. Over to you, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much for those set of questions. I think that the Jusag, I think my brother Abdullah raised the issue of the lack of comparative treatment between the judicial service and the parliamentary service. And this is what Chairman was talking about, the apartheid systems in this. I think that what I can assure you, I was just asking when I looked at 158.2 in the Constitution, I was just asking Chairman, so what stops, when you say what stops the President from approving, because it's not quite clear to me why there is sort of a stumbling block at that level. So once all things being equal, you can be assured that you will have my support in that matter. Then you have, you talked about, when we review the Constitution, we should reinforce the independence of the judiciary. I don't have any problem with that. And then the whole issue about equal pay for equal work and the fact that some people are being paid allowances or pensions which they haven't been contributing to. And I think that's a serious matter. It's a very serious matter. And I think when we are reviewing this whole salary single spine and all of that, these issues should all be part of the comprehensive review, because it's a serious matter. I'm Saudi from the concerned teachers. I think we are very much aligned with what you are saying. It is true that we have really focused a lot on the senior high school. There's no doubt about it. But as if you were reading our manifesto already, we are making that point in the manifesto that it is time for us to focus on the basic education and come at it with the same focus as we have done with the senior high school. And I think that the infrastructure, as you are seeing, that we are trying to put in place, of course, it's just the beginning, but it has to be widely distributed. And I think that, as I said to you, we shouldn't really even wait for Get Fund to try to fund all of it. Get Fund can work with the private sector. Let the private sector move ahead and provide a lot of those infrastructure, and we can pay them over time and not. So we are very, very aligned with your thinking as far as the basic schools are concerned, where we want to see. And Prof from GMA was also talking about this rural-urban dichotomy as far as the distribution of health workers is concerned. And it's very, very stark. I mean, I think that over 80% of doctors, for example, in Accra, Kumasi, Tema area. That is the reality we see. I mean, that's huge. And so what happens to the rest of the rural areas who need doctors and nurses and so on? So this deprived area incentive allowance is something that I will buy into. It just makes sense for you to agree to go to serve in certain parts of the country. It may cause a lot of hardships for you and your family. And I think that an allowance to take that into account will make sense. So if it is gathering dust somewhere, maybe so the manifesto committee should make sure they take it and look at it in terms of what we are going to do. I want to thank all of you very, very, very much for making the time and really most grateful. Very good ideas. Thank you.
So we are going to take a short musical interlude.
Mumble, anointing one shop, what university? And I will university, and I will poly, and I will maybe Biela will Biela. Blah, anointing one shop. So we are blunt here. Now, what's so? Now, when you school, that's always can be the hole. And now we are Benjamin Pom time. Blah, anointing one shop, then found was up. The 2 album prices, no. Now, what post them and conference when you can crack. And your child school fees when you can crack. And then be an old child, mammy, and now papa. And try by you and child be I had night to football to make fun on one shop, mamma. One will yet Juma and Blanty and my bawa. I'm one number bench, and then a bench be move. You walk top and down. You were t-shirt, you were shirt, you were boxer, you were singlet, you were joggers, you were jeans. You can't jeans, you were jeans. I never can have by intimidity. The world 20 shop for more. Hey, Papa Chafam now, work 20 shop for more, a form. Why, I got in your mom. And your mother for any back. And she's on 1,000 cities, 2,500. You may not be a bra, Mabuau. Any baby, you will to a flower station. Who have flower station? But as all here anointing one shop, who call out upon your bachelor. Name so here to find here for a number 0243 63 3885.
At 24, move by a bear come. Oh, bow, so here, mammy answer. Your bag, your what to say, you will never be play. Meet me, body, you will never be play, and Pabua. A day, investing for I no munina, the funny amato, and your business.
It's my real school, I'm a phone my. A pet in Tadin Diad, but I'm not seeing Anna made the barn, and I'm saying Yama that fame. So one man, I'm missing this color cry, they shield more, Miss Mide, and that starts me business a craft. And to the baby, I'm going to be a Bryan on 1.